It is Bruins Benders post-game live on the Inside the Rink YouTube channel with Matty and Smitty. Click subscribe. Get your Bruins Benders merch on InsideTheRink.com/Bruins-Benders. Follow us on the social media, Instagram, Facebook, and X at Bruins Benders. And also, hey, follow the Bruins Off Air. I'm sorry, Benders Off Air, not Bruins Off Air. Benders Off Air on X. Go ahead and find that as well. And here on ITR Plus by Inside the Rink, this is the QR code to sign up for the subscription service. Get Benders Off Air coming soon, and a bunch of other content on there as well. $5 a month, and we also have a yearly discount on there. So go ahead, and some of you have done it. Thanks so much for doing that. We mentioned it in the comments. We appreciate you guys as usual. This is our second to last post game of the season. Bruins win this one 3-1, 4-1, whatever it was. Yeah, 4-1. Who gives a shit? Bruins, the Bruins are all they have to do is lose Tuesday.
Yep.
And they are in the 4th draft position.
That's it. The only problem is New Jersey has nothing to play for on Tuesday.
0. Other than paying you back a little, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Worth it.
Maybe paying you back, maybe rubbing it in your face. But the Bruins will be at home. It's shirts off their backs. Mm-hmm. So they'll be, their 3rd and 4th line guys will be charged up and ready to go.
Wrapped up. Mm-hmm.
So the players aren't going to try to lose.
No.
So, we need somebody to come in here and help us out. But I feel like that's unlikely. The Penguins not showing up today in their, I don't know, one of their final games. I don't know if that was their last home game or not. I don't think so. But the fact that they didn't show up today at all, kind of hurts the Bruins a little bit there. I mean, the shots were 28-6 or something fucking ridiculous. 28-10 or something. Like, outshoot people like that very often. Especially lately. But Pittsburgh didn't come to play. Zadorov tried like hell there late in the second to get the Penguins back into it, taking the double minor. After he takes a, whatever borderline penalty or whatever it was, gives the ref an earful, gets an extra 2. So you thought maybe that was Pittsburgh's chance to get back into it. They got 1, but they didn't get enough. And, there really was no pushback from them in the 3rd period. They were coasting around, didn't seem to care at all. So
at all. Yeah, that was incredible.
Yeah. I mean, they don't really have anything to play for either. They're eliminated too, so it's not like.
And I think their coach is gone too. To be honest,
I think so. I think Sullivan will be fired, and I think honestly, I think he could end up here. I think Mike Sullivan could be the next coach of the Boston Bruins.
Okay, who would you rather want? Sully, Leach. Okay, Sully, Leach. Who are the other candidates? Sacco, or Mujanel, or who would you rather have?
Next year, I want the guy who's going to lose him the most games. I really do. I'm not even kidding. I want fucking Gavin McKenna. So whoever's going to be the worst coach, that's who I want. So I don't know. Give it to somebody. Give it to Mujanel, unexperienced first-year guy. Give it to him. I don't give a shit. Give it to Jay Leach, and he can try to win game 0-0. I don't give a fuck. I want the guy who's going to lose them the most games, get Sweeney's ass fired, and then we can get Gavin McKenna and bring somebody's ass in here that will, will redo the whole thing. New front office, new coach, and do the thing. If you were asking me who I really want for the team to improve, it's David Carl. Or whatever his name is. I think that's his name. From University of Denver, I believe, or maybe that's what I want.
Yeah,
that's what I want.
Okay. If you're gonna do that thing, then just keep Sacco, I would say. But I'll be honest with you. They're not targeting being bad next year.
No, they're not at all targeting that. So they're going to go out and they're going to sign a Sullivan. I think it's probably going to be him.
Yeah.
And they're going to try to turn this thing around next year. Sweeney's going to spend even on mediocre guys, even if he shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll be looking at Jack Eichel next year when he hits free agency, and he'll just be out there, and the Bruins won't have any money to spend because they spent it all this offseason on a bunch of, middle tier guys, and they won't have the money when they really need it 2 years from now.
Sure.
and I'm going to lose my fucking mind.
Yeah, you are. Well, be prepared to be a middling, barely make the playoffs team next year. Be prepared.
That's what it's going to be. They're going to be a middle of the pack team that you know.
They can't have back-to-back years like this year. They can't.
No,
they won't. So, they'll be probably better than this year. How much? Of course, you have to be better than this year. They suck right now.
Yeah,
but a little bit better. Yeah.
Any team next year will be better than this year's team. And look, I'm going to take the blame for this one. I'm wearing too many things that are good for the Bruins here. You
went good juju today.
Yeah, I did. I got the Bruins championship Stanley Cup hat on. I have my Centennial sweatshirt on. Mm-hmm. I have a long sleeved Bruins NHL Winter Classic shirt on when the Bruins beat the Penguins in the Winter Classic. And then I have a Bruins Benders T-shirt on. So way too many good things on. Yeah. And it's my fault. I'll take the blame for the loss. I fucked it up. I should have gone different juju here. I should have put on something else altogether.
Yeah, probably.
Bruins Canadians Winter Classic shirt when the Bruins got their ass.
When they get dusted. Yeah, that was a bad game.
Yeah, should have put that one. Instead.
Yeah, put that one in.
Yeah, that's my mistake. I'll take the blame for this thing. It's my fault.
All right.
My fault alone.
Get your sips in. Adrienne, before she left, she said she had some red wine and maybe an old fashioned. She has some people over for spare ribs tonight. Ooh, hubby's made some spare ribs. Yeah.
I wonder if she's cooking those like in the backyard in a smoker or something.
Coming for dinner, so I'll miss the post game. Glad to hear the tank is still okay despite the imminent win. Sip his red wine and probably an old fashioned. Hubby probably has a smoker. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
In North Carolina, smoker in the backyard.
Yeah, that's amazing. When are we going to Adrian's house? That's what I want to know.
Shortly. right after Tuesday's game. We got a sip tonight. I got Tito's, raspberry lime seltzer, and a little bit of Simply lemonade. It's delicious.
Oh yeah, Tito's and lemonade's fantastic.
Oh, it's great. I put a little carbonation in there, and it's really good.
I'm going water right now. I'm not sure why, but I am
going water. Well, you were ill yesterday, weren't you?
Yeah, I'm still not feeling. I'm still a little bit under the weather here. I'm fighting through something. Got like some kind of head cold, weird shit going on. I don't know. I feel like I'm in a fog. I really do. I feel like I'm like high or drunk for like the last 3 days. Not that it's really a bad thing, but
no,
it's all great when you're trying to focus and get things done.
Yeah. I mean, I hear you. Bee's been sick for a week with stomach, and now she has bronchitis or respiratory or something. Christ. Things are going around, but she can't breathe. She coughs. She's got some sort of respiratory thing.
Yeah, I'm coughing, sneezing. I got
going around
all kind of head cold.
Yeah, head foggy. Yeah. Just want to sleep.
I really do. Yeah. Feel out of it.
Michigan Mike's got Blantons.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, got some Blantons. So I had a quick thing happen Friday. So we're at the restaurant, Italian restaurant. Okay.
Yeah.
And so we decided to go on a date. So B wasn't feeling well, but it was in the middle of stomach thing and respiratory. So she's feeling all right Friday. So we sit down.
In the window.
Yeah, was that
a little window? And you're like,
I had a little window. Like, let's get out to Italian food. We were craving it. So we go. She sits down. She's like, I think I'm gonna get a drink, an alcoholic drink, or maybe non-alcoholic. So me, being me, said, yeah, go Mox or Cox, whatever you want to do. She's like, will you be quiet? What? You talk so loud.
Yeah, we were talking about it.
Yeah, we were talking about this. That was a perfect example. I'm like, I sit back in my chair with my menu. I'm like, go Mox and Cox, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And she's like, will you shut up? Like, So that was right in the middle of the Italian restaurant. So.
Yeah, I mean, but that's how you talk. That's how I talk. My wife has said the same thing to me numerous times. We
just talk out loud.
We have a volume that we like to talk at. Mm-hmm. And we don't really care who around hears what we're saying.
No.
I
guess we don't.
We don't. We're middle-aged men at this point in time. We don't really care what other people think. We are loud, but we also, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but we also think we're funny a little bit.
Yeah, we think we're funny.
if other people hear
We
it,
think we're funny.
like that's not the worst thing in the world because
we
maybe
think we're
they get a
funny.
laugh out of it.
Yeah.
And
now,
people
and
laughed, you know, when either of us said stuff
that's right.
out loud in a restaurant, somebody like you'll get one of those, like a little snicker at one of the other tables. And Dan Maynard, the loud talking is definitely 100% a Boston thing.
Bill Burr.
100%.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, B chimes in. Here's another thing I don't do well. I don't tell a story exactly the same. You know, I exaggerate a little, or I say it a little different. So B's like, that's not how it happened. Matty totally noticed how loud he was before I even noticed. I did. I was like, yeah, have some Moxa Cox. I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Sorry, Moxa Cox.
So but the way that you said it was funnier. So you have to, when you're telling the story, you have to
omit. You gotta be a little funnier.
Yeah. You have to omit certain things, and you have to. And look, if you're going to tell the story more than once, if you're going to tell it again to someone else, you absolutely have to embellish. You have to make it a little different. So even the person that's heard it before was like, that might be still funny. That's
still funny. Yeah, that's still, I
agree. You added something a little new.
I agree.
Yeah. That's totally. One of the things when you're trying to be funny, or when you are a little bit funny, you gotta
exaggerate.
There's little things in there that you gotta manipulate.
You do. We do. It makes the story
better. Yeah. To make
you are 100% true. Bricktop says redemption bourbon for my weekly mid-Lent holiday from not boozing. All right. It is Lent, isn't it? Easter is Sunday. Coming up next Sunday.
Yeah. Easter Sunday. Sure.
Yeah, that's great. Let's see. What else we have here? So anyway, tonight, Bruins, Fabian Lysell gets his first goal. Okay, and he's looking better and better and better.
Yes.
As he goes. He's being more noticeable. He's driving a little bit of offense. He's doing some really good things out there. Again, I'm going to keep harping on why it took so long, but hey, he's obviously learned from being down there, and now I think he's a viable option next year. Where and how, I don't know, but at least there's something there for next year.
I agree. I think he should be an option. I think it should be obviously somewhere in the top 9. And it depends who you're playing with on the third line. If that's where it's going to be, like if you do sign some guys and it is going to be a third line thing, like is it Fraser Minton centering the third line with Lysell and someone else? Because they look like they might have had a little something brewing there. And Khustnidinov has been decent with them. He looked like he had a little something going with Zacha. So maybe it's there's something there with Lysell. I think there is. And I feel like he adds an element to the team that they don't have without him. He has a speed and a carrying the puck element and a off the rush element that not a lot of other guys bring. Like he picked one up in the neutral zone today and just burst into the zone and got a shot off and was looking to shoot. Like there's not a lot of guys on the team who are willing to do that.
No.
And that's a plus in my mind for Lysell. Like I just feel like he kind of creates offense. I think that is definitely a positive, and he has looked good especially the last 3 games or so.
I like Dan Maynard says Lysell with Poitras and Zacha might be an idea next year. I mean, I don't mind Zacha being a third line winger next year. I think that'd be fine, especially if the top 2 have better players than him. If he's a third line winger with Lysell and Poitras down there, that might not be a bad line. Because Zacha and Lysell kind of connected today. Maybe that's good. I want Zacha the hell away from my top line and probably away from my second line, to be honest with you, because he just hasn't been good.
No, I agree. I think he needs to be in a position where he's forced to shoot a little bit more, almost.
Right.
Where he's in kind of more like a geeky role where he's on the wing and he's forced more to shoot the puck because he has a good shot. He does. But I don't know what's going to happen. I can't see him playing really with Mittelstadt because they both love to pass the puck and defer. So I don't think that's a good fit for him.
Right.
But I also, you wonder if it's going to be like Poitras, Lysell, and Zacha on the third line. Like, where does that leave Fraser Minton? Is he a fourth line guy now? Like, does he take Beecher's place?
Well, they're already talking about making him defensively,
I know.
responsible and penalty killing. It looks like it. It looks like it.
Like, is it Kastelic, Minton and Lauko or Khustnidinov on the fourth line?
Yeah, or Duran.
Yeah, Duran hasn't showed me a bunch.
No.
So far, but it's still kind of early for him.
But, I'll tell you what, it could be. Shaz Diet says it takes until game 81 for them to bench Johnny Beecher.
Yeah, finally.
I don't know I still think Beecher's coming back. I mean, he wouldn't have played so much if he's not coming back.
I think you're right. I just hate him on the hockey team.
And tonight they scratched him. So that was an interesting scratch. If he gets scratched again on the way out, then maybe they're thinking of not bringing him back. I don't know. I don't think they should. I mean, the guy just doesn't offer much. He's never really offered much.
No,
he just hasn't. He was a fourth liner on Michigan. Like, he just doesn't offer much.
He was a fourth line for the national development team too.
He's a typical tools guy that never matriculates. It never comes to be. Like, he's a tools guy who doesn't use his tools to be a productive hockey player. There's been a million of them, and he's one of them. So it's not going to appear someday. Like, it's just not going to appear.
No, he's been what he is for the last 8 years.
His whole life. Yeah.
So, I mean, to think now all of a sudden you're going to get, 20 goals out of him when he's never done it ever at any level before this, that's just asinine. You're just putting a guy out there because he was a first round pick. We don't need that. We need guys who will actually produce. So,
asinine's the word.
Give me somebody else there, please. For the love of Christ.
Bricktop says, glad you guys aren't going on about them winning. They're still going to have a great pick. A couple wins down the stretch help teach what is a new roster, how to put together a win. I just don't think they're going to have to worry about it because I think that Philly is going to get more points. Seattle's the one to worry about. They play the Kings their last game at home. Maybe they get a point. All they really need is like a point out of that or two. And then I think you're going to be fine. I really think you're going to be fine anyway. And you're right. Maybe winning a couple of games. I don't know how much it helps or doesn't. I don't know. Like, I don't know how much winning a couple of games helps these guys. It certainly helps a guy like Pastrnak who wants to, slam his head against the ice. You know what I mean? Like, that guy is he's doing everything he can do. And he and Geekie and now Elias Lindholm out of nowhere. Productive all of a sudden. Now, that's a line that at the end of the year here has shown some chemistry. Yes, so do you go into next year thinking, I think you probably have to think that
you 100%
that has to be the line. That has to be the line. It has
100%.
to be
100%. 100%. Because you got Elias Lindholm going. Finally.
Yes.
Finally. Yes. For the love of Christ. Finally. He has 7 points, I think, in his last 6 games, 4 goals over that span. And he wins faceoffs, which puck possession with Pastrnak and Geekie there can only benefit you. So that's the line. Pavel Zacha can fuck right off.
Yeah, that's the line. It has to be the line.
Take off, dude. Go somewhere else.
You're paying guys to be that line.
Yeah. Exactly. Like Elias Lindholm is paid to be on that line. So put him on the line, especially now that he's finally found something chemistry wise with those guys. And Geekie, Zacha and Geekie. Geekie is finally he looks like, they were talking they were talking about him on the in between the intermission. Finally spit it out. The intermission where he was his RFA status. All the guys on the panel said that they thought 5 times 5 would get it done. And I would be good with that because he gets a good raise. The Bruins get a guy who's been productive that Sweeney brought in so he can jerk everybody off and feel good about it.
But Pastrnak can play with.
So it's a win for both sides, I think. 5 times 5. And the cap's going to go up. So it's not like you're, spending a ton of money on it. And look, he was after January 1, there was only 3 other guys in the league that had more goals than him, and it was Draisaitl, Pastrnak, and someone else.
Yeah.
So he's been producing when he's been there. Only 25 guys in the entire league with more goals than him right now.
Well, you're going to have to spend $8 million a year to get a 30-goal scorer on the market.
Absolutely. That's why.
So give him 5.
Give him 5 and feel real good about it. Real good.
Yeah. Okay. So that's got to be the line. So the second line is the line that has to be just about as good, like just as good as that line to be a competitive team. So they need to really build that second line. They have to. And I don't know what that looks like.
Because right now it looks like Mittelstadt.
Jesus fuck.
I mean, today it was Zacha, Lysell, and Lauko, I believe.
Yeah.
Yikes.
That can't happen.
No.
That can't happen. I really think that they want Poitras to take that second line center spot. I really think they do. And I think that's why he spent all this time in Providence. He's got 40 points in 38 games, whatever it is. He's doing really well down there. I think they want that to happen. And honestly, if they don't get a guy, they need that to happen. They need him to be like a 60-point second line center. They need
who else is having a really good start to their professional career?
Oh, Don's Loshmelis.
Loshmelis and Poitras both in the last 2 games have 7 points each in the last 2 games.
Yeah.
So they're developing something too, which is something, that's a positive that you could, be happy about.
I mean, Loshmelis is a little bit of a dark horse to make the roster next year. If he, he's going to play for Latvia again.
Yeah.
And, he's a dark horse to make the out of training camp next year. Now, God from Almighty, don't put him on the 4th line. You know, I mean, if he's going to come up, he's got to play like middle 6. So
he should. Yeah.
And he should. Yeah. So if Loshmelis is on there with Zacha and Minton is your 3rd line, give it a go, I guess.
That's what I want to see next year. I don't want them to spend unless they can get, a Marner or an Ehlers.
Yeah. Unless they get a guy for 6-7 years that's like a legitimate nucleus core guy.
Yeah. A guy, give me a 30-goal scorer or a 90 point guy. Like if you can sign one of those guys, I'm in for next year. But if you can't, I want to see the kids. I want to see Minton. I want to see Loshmelis. I want to see Poitras. I want to see Lysell. That's who I want to see. And have them learn on the job for a year. And if they're bad, they're bad. And you get, a chance at Gavin McKenna. But if you're, and then in 2 years, you get a chance at Jack Eichel, possibly. And then, you're in decent shape then. Like really good shape.
Sure. I think you're absolutely right.
That's what I want to see next year.
And I do too, because either you suck or you surprise people and you're pretty good, but at least you find out who you have for the following season where you can go try to get a guy like an Eichel or somebody.
100%.
Maybe that's you see what you have kind of year. I don't know. Odyssey says, if you don't have a chance on Misa, would you pick the next best player like a Martone, or would you draft by position C? If Martone, would you revisit a potential package for EP40, 3C plus prospect plus pick? Here's what I say, and Smitty says it too. Get the best guy, the next best guy.
Whoever the next best guy
is. You
need
need the best player possible.
Yeah.
You do.
I don't care what position he plays because you need help everywhere. Right now, your centers aren't good enough. Your wings aren't good enough. And,
you need 6 forwards.
Yeah. I mean, you need help everywhere. Everywhere. So I'm taking, if obviously I think Schaefer's going to be gone and Misa's going to be gone. So after 2, then it's kind of a crapshoot who goes next. But I want whoever the next best guy is. Because you have a lot of spots to fill there. So I don't want any part of Elias Pettersson. Nothing to do.
I don't either. I don't want guys who have any type of problems with either, locker room stuff or compete level. Yeah. So guys like Pettersson has a lot of sort of compete level type question marks. He just doesn't show up at times. I don't want those guys anymore. No. I don't want to hope that a guy shows up. No. I don't want passengers. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't really even want to be honest with you.
He's soft and he's streaky. And I think if you're soft in Vancouver, what's going to happen when you come to Boston? and you have these fans on top of you all the time.
It's going to be another Lindholm situation. They just can't stand you.
Yeah, it's not good. It wouldn't be good for him or for the Bruins. So I don't want any part of that thing. Of the two players at the time, I would have preferred JT Miller because I think he's a little bit of an asshole. He's a little bit outspoken, and I think his kind of passion for the game would have fit better here than Pettersson for sure.
Yeah. Odyssey makes a good point about the three C candidates for next year: Patra, Lushmelis, Minton, Mittelstadt, Zacha. The depth on 3C is becoming a problem. Sure, put Zacha back on left wing, but then what? Yeah, there's an overload of like middling centers.
Yeah, they got
you can't play them all.
No, they got too many middle of the road guys.
So I don't know what you do. You either trade Zacha or Mittelstadt. I don't like Zacha on the wing, honestly, because not a board battler, and not a guy along the wall that can do a lot of damage, win a lot of pucks. I don't think Mittelstadt is either, to be honest with you.
No, I mean, I texted the guys during the game, but Mittelstadt, there's a reason the guy's minus 1,000. There was a play where it was like Pittsburgh had a little bit of an odd man rush, but Mittelstadt was literally like a stride and a half behind him and gliding. The pass comes into the middle to, I think it was Sidney Crosby of all people, and maybe Crosby made the pass. But he, like, Mittelstadt could have back checked and been there. He just wasn't.
Yeah.
And the Pens got a really great scoring chance. And that's why he's, probably not the guy you want there. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if he's shown me enough offensively to be like, yeah, that's the answer. I would be willing to move on from Mittelstadt if I could find a taker for him. 100%. I think I would rather have Pavel Zacha and his 40 points and be sound defensively than Casey Mittelstadt and his 40 points and be a minus 25.
Well, that I agree with.
Yeah, I'm also.
Mittelstadt just might be one of those guys that plays on bad teams and gets some points occasionally, but really doesn't have a lot of substance. There's not a lot of stuff to his game.
Yeah, I think he's more of a power play guy. I really do.
Yeah,
I think he can put points up on the power play, but 5-on-5, you're just asking for trouble.
Not good. Not good at all. There was another question here about. Let's see. Oh, if they can allow Mason Lohrei to learn on the job, why the fuck? Sorry, John. Can't they let a forward learn? I think it's about need. Like, they were actually scratching Lohrei in a kind of a sneaky fashion before McAvoy got hurt and before the Carlo trade. Like, when they had some defensive depth, they did scratch him a couple of times. So they were on that sort of path of teaching him some lessons. And then McAvoy's gone and Carlo's gone, and they had to play the kid. You know what I mean? And the same thing with Patra when he came in 2 years ago or last year, whatever it was, and they had to play him because they had no center depth at all. And he did okay, but they had to play him. So I think it's about when there's a real need, then they have to play the young guy when they're held up against the wall.
Right.
But with forwards, they really haven't had any sense of urgency to get him in there. And they can teach them a lesson, and they can punish them, and they can, do all these other things. But now the team sucks, and they had to trade 6 forwards. So now some of these guys are getting in there.
Yeah. Nat Pat's asking about Vinny Lattieri. Guys, can we talk about Vinny Lattieri? Is he a solid player, or am I imagining things? He plays hard. He makes good plays. He's a smart hockey player. Why does nobody talk about him?
Because, man, I think he sucks. No, I'm not. I'm teasing. I think that Lattieri is a 4A player. He's a really good AHL player who now is a veteran, has learned how to play, and you can get away with him in the lineup for a couple weeks. But over the course of a season, you're just not a good hockey club if he has any type of role. You just aren't.
Yeah,
he's just not good enough.
That's where I fall in the thing. And I agree with you. I think he does make good plays. I think he does make smart plays. I think he does all the right things. But if you're being honest with yourself, as if you want the Bruins to be a Stanley Cup contender, he's not on the roster. On a bad team, sure, yeah. He's a third or fourth line guy, and he'll probably do better than John Beecher would. Like, I would be fine if he played fourth line left wing for the Boston Bruins,
right,
instead of John Beecher. I would be perfectly fine with that because I think he does compete hard all the time. I think he does have some skill and some touch around the net and all those things. And he's a veteran, so he knows how to play. He knows what to do. So yeah, if you want to plug him in on the fourth line for the Bruins, fine. But if he's any higher in the lineup than that, you're not a good team. You just aren't.
No, you aren't. Katie joins late, but agrees with a comment above about Patra. Would like to know what the plan is for Patra. Being in Providence while the rest of these young kids are up makes me worried. I really believe it's because they want him to be the guy, because they want to see if he can be a guy next year in the NHL. That's what I think it is. It's building up his confidence. He's only 20. Yeah, get a little bigger, a little stronger, have all this confidence in the world, because I really think that they want him to be the second line center next year.
I think that has a lot to do with it. I think going through an AHL playoff as a guy who plays, 20, 22 minutes a night, plays in all situations, is playing with Locke Mellis and Wahlstrom. So he's got some decent talent around him, at least at that level. And I think what Matt said is true. I think they want him to turn into the playmaking second line center that they need. And him playing a lot of minutes down there in all situations, and going through a playoff. I think that can only help him, in his development. So I think,
and if he develops, like let's say he has a really good playoff in Providence, then they may be more inclined to trade a Zacha or a Mittelstadt. You know what I mean? Because they might be like, we got Lindholm and Patra, we're gonna roll with it, and these other two guys, we'll see who gives us something for one of them, and move on from one of them.
I'm 100% down with that. I think that could be a plan. I hope it's a plan, because I think they should get rid of one of those contracts. Because they both make 5 and change ish. So I think it would be. And like I said, I would be for getting rid of Mittelstadt and keeping Zacha. I think he's better defensively, and I think he has a higher upside as far as points go as well.
Yeah, I think and I could see like Lindholm, Patra, Minton, Kastelic as your centers to start the year. I could see that.
Sure,
I could see that. I just don't know what happens with Mittelstadt or Zacha, but I could see that. Michigan Mike says, B, I graduated from Northeastern and my wife says I'm loud. Yes, it's Boston thing. Yeah, loud at the wrong times. And the talking with the hands, I do that when I get a little animated. Like I talk with my hands, even though I'm Irish and not Italian. I do talk with my hands though.
It's a Boston thing. I think, sure.
Katie says, that makes you feel a lot better about Patra, but you never know what Sweens is thinking, or if he is thinking at all.
I mean, that's 100%
valid.
True.
Valid.
We gave a plan, but we're not sure that that's really their plan. That's Sweeney's plan. That's just what our idea of what they might be thinking is. But you're right. Who knows if he's thinking at all? Because it's been kind of a struggle to kind of figure out what their plan's been the last few years.
Sometimes I think Sween sees a guy score a goal or something, and he's like, or back check, and he's like, oh my God, okay, yeah, next year he's on the team. Like, it's just like, it's that simple. Like, okay, had a good game. Great. We don't have to get another guy. And I'll tell you what, they can't run it back with the majority of these people. They can't. If they want to be good, they just can't do it.
I mean, that's the thing. You're going to have to make some tough choices with, guys that people tend to fall in love with the guys who are on the team already. But look, this team is going to finish, 4th or 5th worst in the league. So obviously there needs to be some changes made because the team's not good enough right now.
Well, I hear you.
So some guys that are on the team right now aren't going to be on the team anymore. And, people are going to have to be okay with that. People are going to have to be okay with, losing a Zacha or losing a Mittelstadt or whoever it is, because they need more scoring depth. They need, whatever the case may be. They need a lot of things. So, you're going to have to be okay with the dynamic of the team, the roster changing.
Yeah. Joe Bandera says, are you guys still doing the Benders podcast during the playoffs?
Post game lives or the actual?
Yeah, the weekly podcast will still be going out weekly. Yes. We'll be doing the Benders off air for the subscription folks. So get your subscription going there. That'll be super fun and funny. And then maybe we'll do a live here or there. After a big night of hockey.
Yeah. So we might throw either a big night of hockey, or if there's a certain series maybe you guys want us to spotlight. We can do some lives for that thing, or maybe we'll just save it all and we'll go live for the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah, we'll just go Stanley Cup Finals. Yeah, that might be too. That might be it too. But yes, I think we might slip a live in here or there.
Yeah.
And we might do a live here and there. I don't know. Maybe even a live weekly episode here or there, just to have you guys jump in, because we'll obviously miss you guys.
Yeah, maybe we could do like a watch party or something, because the games won't mean a hill of beans to us at that point.
All right. We could watch party the thing for sure.
Just get on there and we can all just shoot the shit and have some drinks and watch a game.
Yeah, I'm with you. I am with you. Let's see what else. Down the stretch, they didn't have to play Lohrei, says Shaz Dyer. If there was ever a guy that wasn't outscoring his mistakes, that's the guy who is supposed to be an offensive D. Well, here's the thing, Shaz. At down the stretch, who are you putting in there?
Yeah, that's
who are you putting in there? I mean, you have guys on the farm who aren't that great. And if you think Mitchell's bad and Callahan's bad and these guys, I mean, and I think they really want Lohrei to work through his mistakes, his many mistakes. I think they need Lohrei to be pretty good. And if they see some potential in him, then maybe he turns a corner, starts to learn enough defense to make himself a decent NHL defenseman, making short money still. He's an RFA. He won't command a lot this year because he has a minus 45 or whatever. So it won't be a big deal. So he's still a talented guy, young and cheap. So I think that's probably what they're looking at, is just how to play himself out of those mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it before with guys that we've wanted the Bruins to do this, like guys that you don't think aren't going to be a part of your future. Like, don't give those guys the minutes. If you think a guy's not going to be part of your future, like Ian Mitchell or somebody like that, like, don't give him the minutes.
No,
give him a Lohrei. Let Lohrei learn, or give him to whoever that you think is going to be a part of the future of the team.
Yeah.
And let those guys learn through their mistakes, especially when you don't have anything to play for at this point.
I'll tell you what, it's a sneaky, weak defensive depth on this team. There's no down on the farm, like Jackson Edwards playing in Maine. Like, he was a guy people were targeting as like maybe he could play in a couple of years.
Yeah,
I don't know. Frederic Brunet has had a pretty good year. Like, he might be a guy who could slip in at some point, but after that, it's just not a lot of defensive prospects.
No, there isn't. It's Brunet, and it's the kid they got in the Edmonton trade, Warner.
Yeah, Max Warner. Yeah.
Max Warner, and Ty Gallagher, who just signed from Colorado College, who was at BU and had a pretty good year. It's those guys. Those three are probably the top of your, defensive depth down there, and it's not great. Like, that's not great.
No, so it's not great. It's not great.
I think they're going to be in the market definitely for a right shot defenseman, because I don't know if Jokiharju is going to come back or not, but they're going to be looking for at least one, probably two right shot defensemen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I totally agree. They need a quality right shot D. They really do. And that's a sneaky need that they need to do. Now, the other thing is Matthew Curtis was talking about overload at center and draft all wingers. Do you think they might draft a Martone, because there is more of a need of a quality winger than a center?
They could 100% do that, but I don't know with them. Like, I don't either have any idea what they would do. To me, and if you were looking at what they've done in the past, they would take a center and just move him to wing. Mm. If they like the center, because they're like, a center, can do more. Yeah,
can win faceoffs, and he's 200 foot and all this other crap. Yeah.
All the other bullshit that goes on.
He doesn't know how to play wing, so that's a problem.
So, in my mind, they're going to take a center almost no matter what. I don't think they should. I think they should take the best player available, and it happens to be a fucking defenseman. Take the defenseman.
Mm-hmm. Because, I'm with you.
You need good players. It doesn't matter at this point in time what position they're going to be at, because you're not going to compete for a cup next year or the year after that, even probably. So just get good players in, and then you can figure out the rest later on. Yeah, that's where I fall on the thing, but we'll see what happens. I don't know what they'll do.
Get good players. Just get a bunch of good players.
Yeah, get good players.
We wanted them to sign Gensel and not a center, because we didn't think the centers were good enough.
That is 100% true.
So get the 40 goal scorer instead. Put him on the other side of Pastrnak.
Yeah.
But what do we know? Matthew Curtis, rumors are that even if the Bruins get the first overall pick, they are taking Roger McQueen. Sweens was in the stands for his first game back after his 6-month injury. He was in the stands. Was it last night or today for Desnoyers? Yeah, he had a 3-point game or something, and Sweeney was in the stands for that one.
Yeah.
So he's looking at all those guys in that range.
I think he's got the scouting reports on those guys, and he's going to watch them all play now to make his own conclusions. I would just as soon have him sit in his office with the central scouting list pulled up on his goddamn computer.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it.
Next guy on the list. Whoever's left. That's what I want to see happen.
I mean, in 2015, if he did that, he'd probably have Zadorov still, but Barzal, Connor, he'd have, if he just looked at the list and didn't know anything about the players.
We'd have Jaukb, Zadorov, Matt Barzal, and Kyle Connor. If he had just followed the effing list,
and you'd have 2 quality forwards there.
Yeah.
And he may have even traded Barzal a couple of years ago
for a bag of pucks.
For a bag of pucks because you couldn't stand the guy. Yeah, great. Katie says, would love to listen to you guys talk about the playoffs and other teams. Sure would be entertaining. You betcha. Katie.
We'll do it. We'll do it.
Yeah.
We will get out.
We'll get in there. We'll get in there.
Yeah.
We'll get in there. How do you feel about Marchand so far? Does he seem happy in Florida? Says Nat Pat. Well, is he the happiest in the world? I have no idea, but he's ribbing his teammates. Rodriguez ribbed him in the press conference the other night. They seem to be having fun together. I think they're kind of doing that. We used to hate him, but now we love him, but we're going to rib him kind of thing. And he's a big chirper, even to his own teammates. So I think, and he's showing some great chemistry with Lundell and who's it, Luosterainen or somebody like that. That line has been really good for them. And it's a game changer kind of line for them.
It is because you put those guys out as a third line, matching up against other third lines. That's advantage Florida, and we've talked about it before a bunch of times. Usually in the playoffs, when you get really good teams, the top 2 lines cancel out unless you have all world players, and the game is won by the third lines and the depth. If those guys chip in and can add depth scoring, makes a huge difference for teams come playoff time. Huge difference.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think Marchand's a good fit there as far as just personnel. Whether he'll resign there or where he's going to resign, I have no idea. But it's not going to be in Boston. I guarantee it. It's not coming back.
No, it isn't.
It's not coming back. So that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I think the number was too high. I think whatever he wanted was too high, and that ship has kind of sailed. That bridge is
it has sailed. It has sailed. Far and away.
Yeah.
So Elias Lindholm's the guy. He's the guy. I mean, to me, he's as important as anybody else. If he has really good chemistry on that line and gets 60, 65 points next year, then maybe they're a decent team, depending on how the other lines fall. This is their chance with him. He has to produce on that line. He's paid to do it.
Yeah,
he can't be a third liner that you're trying to scratch something out of. He's got to be what he is right now.
100%.
And here's the other sneaky problem they have. Penalty kill is 22nd in the league, bottom third. So the guys they have right now, especially the forward group, not really conducive to great penalty killing. So they really need to shore up the penalty killing. So when you're making your roster, you have to, instead of, you can't really get all guys who can skate and score and all that. And you need some guys who can kill penalties. So they really have to be a much better penalty. They got to get that into the top 10 next year if they have any chance to be a playoff team.
They do. And the fact that they had Fraser Minton out there killing penalties tonight, I think is a good sign for his possible, addition to the team. Because John Beecher was one of those guys. And look, I think John Beecher does not have hockey IQ at all. So I think putting him out there on the penalty kill is just asking for trouble. He doesn't know where the seams are. He's never made a seam pass in his goddamn life. So why do you have him out there trying to plug the seams up on the penalty kill?
Know where they are. Yeah.
No, he has no idea. people are passing the puck through him and by him. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He's fast and he's big, so he can get a stick in the way, but he's not good at it. So I don't want him out there. I think Elias Lindholm, I think, is a pretty good penalty killer. Fraser Minton, like the jury's still out. But yeah, they need to add some guys there that are, make it difficult on the penalty kill. And Zadorov kind of works his way out of position a little too much for my taste. And look, Kylo is a really good penalty killer, and he's gone. So
yeah, he was.
That right shot D, like you said, is a sneaky need. And if you can find a guy that can play a little offense, that's great. But if you can't, you need to find a right shot D that's a fucking really good penalty killer. Sorry,
you need someone in between McAvoy and Peeke. You need a guy in there.
100%.
You don't have a guy like that. You can't have Peeke as your second pair.
Yeah.
So
Zach Heist
it has to be a guy in the middle.
Yes, he can. Zach Heist. Yes, he can.
Marner can Peeke. Sure,
yes,
Marner can play 22 minutes a game. He'll be great.
If you're gonna give him $50 million,
he can play half the game
all night long.
Yeah. Bruce Bridger says scouts were changed after that 15 draft, and drafts have been much better. Just haven't had high quality picks. That I agree with, but has the draft been much better since?
Much better. I would say
16 was McAvoy.
Yeah.
17 is Swayman, like later.
Yeah.
18 is Lauko. And then you get into 19. I don't think there's anybody there anymore.
Yeah.
And then I think 20 is Beecher. Was 20
Lysell? Who was Lysell? When was Lysell?
Oh, 20 Lysell? Maybe 20 was Lysell. There was a draft with like Duran and Kuntar and all them.
Yeah. I mean, they're picking towards, or they have picked towards the bottom of the draft. So, there haven't been a lot of players there. But I don't think they've done a great job of developing guys in lower rounds. Other teams, other organizations have hit on lower round draft picks, and the Bruins really have. You don't have a lot of guys on the team right now who are like, oh, he was a 3rd round or a 4th round pick, out of this, and he's producing for you. It's one thing if you have a guy who makes the team and skates around, but it's another thing to have a guy like Brandon Point be like a 3rd rounder who's an impact player for you. Like the Bruins haven't done that. They haven't done that thing where they've identified a guy, probably since Brad Marchand, where they found a guy, a little bit lower down in the draft who has really been an impact player for them.
Yeah, so true.
You'd like to see them hit on some of those things, and maybe they will here with, Christopher Pelosi looks decent. Losh Mellis looks pretty good. Like these are some lower round guys who look okay right now. Will Zellers looks like a steal, hopefully, in the Coyle trade. So, you might have some guys now maybe coming in. Swayman was one. Swayman was a lower 5th round. So, but they've always been pretty good with goalies.
Goalies they can identify. Not
players, about they haven't done a great job with it. So you'd like to see them get a little better in that area, but time will tell, I suppose, on some of these guys that they picked fairly recently.
19 was Beecher. 20 is the Lohrei, Kuntar, Langenbrunner, Duran.
Okay.
That draft. 21 is Lysell, Harrison, Svedback, Jelvik, Mast, Gasso, Gallagher.
All right. So Gallagher maybe, Gasso maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, Jelvik's hurt a little bit. Gallagher, yeah. I mean,
Svedback.
Yeah, there's some possibilities there.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then 22 is Poitras, Spicer, Loshmelis, Brunet, Reed Dick, and Jackson Edward.
Yeah. Again.
Yeah. I guess you're right, Bruce.
Yeah.
It's been okay.
Not bad.
Okay.
Not bad.
They're doing all right. They're doing the best they can, I think, there. Katie says a broadcast today brought up the Olympics. Do we think Swayman rebounds and makes the team? Almost no chance he's higher on the chart than Helly or Otter, but not sure who else is American. I don't think Swayman makes the unless he gets a lot better. I mean, Hellebuck might win the Hart.
Yeah, he's according to the betting odds, he is the front runner for the
minus 150.
Yeah, he's the front right now.
Yeah.
He will be the starter. Ottinger will be the backup, and then it might be
maybe the 3rd goalie. Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. But there's also some other Like, is Dustin Wolf a U.S. goalie with Calgary? I think
I think he is, isn't he?
I think he is too. And he had a really good year as a rookie.
He is an American professional hockey player.
So you might be looking at him. If he has another really good year, he might be the third goalie because they might be grooming him for, a few years down the road. So Swayman's got to bounce back pretty big if he wants to get back into the conversations for some of these, best on best tournaments.
Yeah, and Decord too from the Kraken. Yeah, he's American.
Yeah,
Joe Decord. Lysell was 21st in the 2020 draft, I think, and you are correct. Yes, 20. He was 21st in the 2021 draft.
2021.
Yeah, 2021. Yeah, he was with Harrison, who's fallen off the face of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And then Zvedback, and then Jelvik and Mast is not going to be a pro, and then Gasso and Gallagher. So, who knows? I don't know. Maybe you get some late rounders. I mean, Lashmelis is a 4th rounder.
Yeah.
Brunet's a 5th rounder.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Walsh had a really good year. Corneli's a 6th rounder.
Yep.
Kostadinsky's a 7th rounder. He's going to BC next year. So maybe in the later rounds you're doing pretty well. I don't know though. I mean, I don't know because those are a crapshoot. It might be decent prospects. Maybe
and then it comes down to, like, are those guys going to crack the NHL lineup? Yeah, that's great if they do. But are they going to be impact guys? Like, that's what we need. We don't need a guy who's just going to be on the team.
Yeah, kind of a spot guy. Bring him up, bring him down.
I don't need Johnny Beecher. I know Beecher was a first round, but he's kind of like feels more to me like one of those guys. Like he really should have been like a 5th or a 6th rounder. And, he's like a fringe NHL guy. We don't need that. We need guys who are going to be impact guys.
No.
We need guys that are going to step in and play well and produce.
Yeah, and I think right now the only real chance you have is like a Poitras. And then after that, it's like, I mean, Lashmelis. I don't know. You talked about Zellers. That's a couple of years. You're talking about Letourneau. Jesus, that's 4 years.
I mean,
Jesus. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know.
They were talking about Zellers. And I think, I can't remember, I might have sent a stat in the text about him and goals in the USHL about who else in the last, I don't know what it was, like 10 or 12 years who had, the highest amount of goals in the USHL. And it was pretty good names. I think, it was Matt Coronado and someone else.
Okay. Okay.
Who are, impact NHL guys. Like,
yeah.
And so if you get that, then, you might be, here we go. Yeah. So Matt Coronado had 48 and Macklin Celebrini, number 1 overall pick, had 46. So there you go. Got guys. So Zellers is going to go to the University of North Dakota, and they think, even as a freshman, that he might be pretty good. So we'll see. Yeah. If he has a pretty good year as a freshman and makes an impact right away, then you think maybe we got something here. Maybe.
Yeah, it's gonna be really, keep an eye on that year in the freshman year. I mean, if he goes there and he gets kind of dominated, he scores 3 goals, but if he goes and he scores 16, 18 goals and he's an impact player in North Dakota, then I think you might have something. But you can't go 0-3-0, whatever it is for Letourneau in 36 games. You can't do that thing because that's not great. Nat Pat is very hopeful for next year. The hockey guards are blessing us with good play from Zadorov and Lindholm as a reward for having to endure Beecher all year long. Yeah.
I love Nat Pat more and more every single day.
It's a Nat Pat. I'll tell you what, Beecher, one of the best things about Tuesday being the last post game is I don't have to talk about Beecher for like at least 6 months.
Nat Pat is enduring themselves to me by the day. More and more love from me by the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we might have to go commenter of the year. We're going to have some bendies. Bendy awards.
We're going to have some bendies?
Yeah, have some bendies. Yeah. Commenter of the year. Grab asser of the year. Guy who just grab asses the team.
Australian of the year. There's some ones. Female commenter of the year.
Maybe we should call this group, the commenter group, the Kangaroo Court. In honor of Dan Maynard.
There's only a handful of Australians.
There's only a handful. Definitely have to come out. I'll tell you what. Throw in the comments. What do you think you guys should be called? We're gonna go call you guys something. We're gonna go to the sin bin or the
Bendies.
kangaroo court or the fucking booze hounds
What
or
should we call
something.
the comment section?
Yeah,
What should we call the comments?
because we need to call it something next year. Joe Bandera, nice hat, Smitty. You think we will get a new championship hat in the next 5 years?
No, I don't.
No.
This one was I got it because I knew it was going to be a while before we.
It took 39 years the first time.
Yeah.
I think it's going to take quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
For the next one.
Bruins 1970 complimented my hat too. I give him a little.
He did. You get some good compliments.
Yeah, I mean, it is a nice hat. It's a really nice hat.
Tell you what, you want to go down a rabbit hole YouTube? I go down rabbit holes with YouTube of that season, that playoff run.
Oh yeah,
they have all the games like in their entirety, and then they have highlights and everything. Like I watch them all. Like I just sit there and watch them, and I watch and I think, Jesus, that was a good hockey team. And I realize that this is not a good hockey team.
Yeah, That's the thing. You watch around the league, and you watch other teams playing. You're like, Jesus,
but the Bruins are not this good.
That's a pretty good hockey team, and this team is running Jaukb, Lauko, and Johnny Beecher out there.
Oh my God, Johnny Beecher with a scratch tonight. Someone check on him.
Makes you sick to your stomach.
It does. So if the Bruins lose, actually, if Philly has 2 more games,
they do.
So Philly has 2 more. They're playing well. They should get at least a point out of that. So they'll be ahead of you. And then Seattle's the team. Kings, Kraken, Tuesday night.
Well, So right now, you're still in 4th.
You're in 4th right now.
They're each ahead of you. So, yeah. If you lose, you get 4th.
Mm-hmm.
If you only get 1 point, I think you get 4th.
You get 4th, yeah. You need to win the game.
Yeah.
So if it goes to overtime,
overtime, any of that's
fine
good.
Too. That's fine
shootout loss, any of that's good.
That's fine too.
Yeah.
I think the Devils going to beat your ass Tuesday because I think they're pissed.
They're pissed.
I hope so.
I hope so. Mm-hmm. I hope they run it up on you on Tuesday.
Yeah, I think so. I'll tell you, it like a 5-1 loss at home on shirt off your back night. I think cements like that. You need to make some big time moves. I don't want to finish the year with a couple of wins, and you won how many 4 out of 7 or whatever it is they've won. Like I don't want that. I want like a harsh reminder that this team is nowhere near.
Yeah, I agree. Shaz Diet said Dean should have never gone to. He said BU, but it's BC. Worst decision his people could have made.
And it was a terrible decision. Yeah. He should have gone to the USHL or somewhere.
Yeah, he played it against bad composition. He was supposed to go to the USHL. BC, because they had so many people leave, asked him to come. And I think, he was put in a tough position there because the place you're going for a scholarship asked you to come early. You really can't turn them down because they could take your scholarship away. They could just say, "Oh, you want to come now? Then we're going to give it to someone."
And you know what? They're the type of team that's going to out-recruit you.
Yeah.
So they're going to go get another guy.
They'll recruit over the top of you. I mean, so it was a tough spot for him to be in. And I really don't think he could have said no, but it did put him in a bad spot. Like he wasn't.
How much are the Bruins in on that decision?
I don't think they were in on it.
You don't think so?
No.
He would have gone to Dubuque, I think, right? Which is where Spicer is.
Yeah.
I think he would have played for Dubuque Fighting Saints. And he should have. He should come this year. And
like I said, he was in a tough spot, and he probably really couldn't say no to that.
Right.
And, he played in all the games as a freshman, which he was overmatched. He had some chances.
He did.
He played, 4th line. He had a few assists. And, I think in the grand scheme of things, he'll be better off for it, probably. Unless it absolutely just destroyed his confidence. But we'll see. Hopefully next year he rebounds and breaks out as a sophomore.
Well, next year they lose a bunch of guys. Obviously they're going to re-recruit and get people in there, but they lose a bunch of these guys. So, and I don't know what's happening with Gasso. I don't know if he's going back or if he's
still making his decision.
Yeah, he's eligible to come. And the Bruins have, what do they have? 3 spots left, or 3 or 4 spots left? They have roster spots. They have.
They do. They have some
slots left.
They have some opportunity to plug.
I think they do. Curious from Katie, if you had to pick, who do you want to win the cup this year?
Ooh, that's a good question.
It is, and one that I hadn't really thought of. Who do I want to win the cup? You know what? I want Ottawa to win the cup, so that Smitty was right. in that Allmark wins the cup after leaving. After Swayman has a shit year, Allmark wins the cup, and Smitty said just what was going to happen. They're gonna fucking stick it up your ass.
Yeah,
After you traded your goalie
good one.
in division.
I should have taken that one. That is a good one. That's a really good call. I love that one. I'll go Western Conference, and I'll say Minnesota Wild, just because.
Yeah. Okay. Boldy. Yeah.
I'm I'll pat myself on the back, but I'm somewhat friends with Matthew Boldy's family a little bit, tiny bit. I've always rooted for Boldy, so I'll say Minnesota, and I like Kaprizov and.
I like their team. Eriksson-Ek. I like their team.
Eriksson-Ek, Faber, was
excellent. And how about Bium?
Yeah,
is going to play Tuesday night. I think.
Yeah, he's going to play Tuesday night because they have some injuries on deep. They've had injuries all year, but they and with Bium coming in, they'll have a pretty good defensive core for a lot of years, and they have Rossi and some decent talent if they're not hurt. So I'd like to see them, make a run and win it.
If we got some St. Louis out there, do you really want to see Monty win the cup?
I don't at all.
I really don't. Here's why I don't. If I thought Monty, was the better man the whole way through and tried real hard and really got screwed, then I might think differently. But I think he gave up on the fucking team. I think he is a pro pocket pool player, like Bruins 1970 says. I think he had his hands in his pockets. He didn't give a shit about the team the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And sort of forced them to kind of fire him because he pretty much gave up and pouted and was extra sarcastic. The whole demeanor sucked to me. So I don't want him to win.
Here's the thing about St. Louis for me. I will never want them to win because I'm holding a grudge from 2019. Right. I hold a huge grudge.
I'm with you.
No, I don't want them to win ever.
I'm with you.
I don't want them to win anything ever again. Mm-hmm. I want them to lose all the games all the time.
Yeah.
St. Louis.
Fuck St. Louis is right. But I'm gonna go Ottawa. I'm gonna go the Ottawa Senators.
That's a great
maybe the first Canadian team since '93.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good one
to win. 32 years to win the cup. Yeah,
that'd be a good one.
Ottawa Senators, Brady Tkachuk, and Linus Ullmark.
You know what I almost would like to see is Ottawa play Edmonton and Ottawa win it instead of Connor McDavid. That'd be another kind of little, all Canadian thing.
All Canadian.
You get. Oh, I forgot Brazeau was on Minnesota. I don't want them to win anymore.
Oh God, Brazeau. I'll tell you what. I will be surprised, Michigan Mike, if Brazeau plays more than 50% of the playoff games.
Yeah, he's playing.
I'll be surprised if he's in the lineup.
He's playing 7 minutes a night now.
Yeah.
I don't. Did he play the other night when they got
Eriksson-Ek was hurt? So I think when he
Eriksson-Ek came back. So Eriksson-Ek and Kaprizov are both back. I don't know if he played in the games.
Well, he probably didn't. He must have been one of the first one out. I'll tell you what the lines are right now: Kaprizov, Eriksson-Ek, Boldy, and then Johansson, Gaudreau, and Zuccarello, Foligno, Rossi, Nyquist, Trenin, Hartman, Brazeau. So he's a fourth line right wing with Trenin and Hartman. That's right. They picked up Gustav Nyquist too.
They did
off the waiver wire. So I don't know if he would play much in the playoffs, either in the lineup or off the bench. Like he just doesn't play a lot of minutes. Watch him score a goal in the playoffs. Lose my mind. I mean, he stinks.
He was scratched in the last game.
Is T-Boz still alive? What happened to T-Boz?
He moved into Connor's basement and
doesn't like us anymore. He's shackled in Connor's basement.
Yeah, Connor killed him in his basement.
My mind, he hasn't been around.
No, he moved. He was in Florida.
I know he moved, but he must have internet. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
I mean, did he move to a rural area with no internet?
Maybe he works nights. Maybe he's locked up in Connor's basement.
Well, maybe he just gave up on the Bruins this year and he'll be back next year. I don't know. But he was a loyal.
Yeah. How are we supposed to give him a T-shirt now?
Yeah.
We don't have any idea where he is or what he's doing.
No. We'd even give him, if he comes back, I'll give him a complimentary rocks glass for all his pricey bourbon.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's really too bad.
Oh,
does Connor want to chime in here? Is that what
I believe once upon a time he did order a T-shirt or something of yours. So I might be able to get some information and send him an email if you guys wanted to send him a little.
Yeah, I was just checking in on him, making sure the move's okay and everything. Sure.
Yeah, because we're nice guy. Yeah, check on the move. Does he need any? Does he need any help? Does he need you to lift any boxes?
I mean, I will say, as far as the internet goes, I don't know how much you know about Illinois, but outside of Chicago, there really isn't shit here. So the internet thing couldn't be a joke, potentially.
Really? Okay. All right.
Jesus.
Send him one of those. What are those Wi-Fi enhancer things? What are those things that spark in your plug?
Yeah, the Wi-Fi.
The booster. The booster.
That's what we need. Yeah, just buy some and just plug them in, around your house.
Christ, are we gonna have Bruins Benders friggin' boosters now on the fucking website?
We're gonna have to sell Wi-Fi boosters. Jeez,
almighty.
We have to put a satellite up in the sky. Like we have to Starlink the hell out of this thing.
Yeah, I know. Sending satellites.
We start our own internet company. Probably Elon Musk.
The internet, you're gonna have to basically record and download it on a CD and send it out.
Yeah, I'll send hard CDs out, DVDs, CDs.
Yeah, I think we should start the Benders Internet Company.
Yeah, the Benders Internet. Yeah, with paper cups and string.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and that'll work.
Buy boosters.
Yeah, the boosters.
Yeah.
We do have to get the Yeti and the shot glass. That's the next. That's the next. Those are the next two things: Yetis and shot glasses.
Yes,
is what we need next.
Yeah.
Blues aren't winning this year, says Jazz Diet, and I can't wait to see them get bounced in the first round if they make it. Yeah, I think that the Blues could very well, but they might play the Jets. I think last I looked.
Yeah, bounce the hell out of those guys.
Yeah, just sweep them. That's enough. That's enough Monty for this year. And that's enough podcast for tonight. It's a 4-1 Boston Bruins win, and one more to go. Tuesday night, New Jersey Devils at home. Shirt off your back, Benders off your back, all of it. Tuesday night. We'll be here after that. Hey, sign up for the subscription service. Bruins Benders Off Air is coming. All sorts of good laughs. Very little hockey. ITR Plus by Inside the Rink. That QR code right there. It's also on the Inside the Rink website as well. Until Tuesday night. Oh yeah, 20% off with the code Sorry John. Get your rock.
Buy some shit. Thanks.
Buy everything. I don't know. Buy whatever you want in there.
Yeah, there's lots of good stuff.
Yeah,
buy some shit.
You're gonna need it because we're gonna have almost 6 months of no Bruins hockey. So we're gonna have to do some fun things in the summer. All right. As always, go Bruins.
Thanks a lot. Bye bye.